What's up, Foundation? What's up, Foundation? What's up, Foundation? Man, it's me, your big partner, Tony. Man, God been working on me, man, since I was born. And don't forget, man. I represent Jesus Christ.
What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? Man, it's me, your big partner, Tony. Back again. Oh, man. First off, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that comment button for me, man. Anyway, I seen in the comments in one of my shorts recently, a person was speaking, and I've seen it said a couple of times in the last, few videos or whatever. And the person was commenting on Tune. He said, they called me Tune. Tune, if you're not Crippin' no more, why do you have that blue on? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about, the blue? Then after reading more comments, at different times, I found out what they was talking about, what people was talking about, and they was talking about the blue scrunchie that I wear on my hair. This. They was saying, if you not, man, take it out. Okay, listen. First though, blue is my favorite color, whether I'm Crippin' or not. Blue is my favorite color. That's why I have it. Anyway, and blue is not my favorite color because I at one time was affiliated with Crips. Period. No, blue has just always been my favorite color. Did it come about behind that? I don't know. But all from far back as I can remember, blue has always been my favorite color. And anyway, so I'm going to wear blue. I'm not finna try to change my life around to fit around the parameters of what y'all think my life should be or how I should be carrying myself. No, it don't work like that. If it's on my wrist when I'm doing a video, it's because my hair is down. It's because my hair is not up. You know what I'm saying? I done got it pulled back and just put a hat on. So I just throw it on my wrist. You know what I'm saying? Till I put it back on. If you see it in my hair, of course you know why it's in my hair. Because it's holding my hair up. You know what I'm saying? So keying on something else, man, instead of the petty mess. If I put on an all blue suit, if I put on an all red suit, whatever, that has no bearings on a gang affiliation with me any longer. Anyway, so now that we got past that, let's move on to the video. A lot of people have asked me about the whites. Now, while I'm telling this video, I'm speaking on the whites. If I say white boy, I don't mean no disrespect to any other Caucasian men out there. It's just a term, just how I'm used to saying it. White boys. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, boom. But anyway, when I first came to prison in the 80s in California, I didn't have a lot of problems from the whites. Have I ever gotten into any confrontations with them? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like the confrontations with blacks and Mexicans. I can only think of maybe once or twice getting into confrontation with the whites, and both times I believe it was because we were at odds with the Mexicans, and the whites wanted to back the Mexicans up. You know what I'm saying? And so it went on, so on and so forth. They weren't a big group. They were not a big group. Of course, blacks and Mexicans have always dominated prison as far as numbers went. And then the whites were there, When I came to prison in Alabama, the whites were I don't want to just use the word insignificant, because you had some nailhead white boys, but now they were far and in between. It was like 1 out of 100. You know what I'm saying? That was just a stomped down nailhead. It just, it is. That's just how it was in Alabama prison system. Blacks ran everything, dominated. When I first came to prison in Alabama, they didn't have any Mexicans. It was just blacks and whites. As time went on, the Mexicans started coming, but when I was leaving, they probably didn't have any at any given time. It wasn't even 20 Mexicans on the yard. You know what I'm saying? It's probably different now. But as far as the whites went, when I first came in, like I say, the prison in Alabama, whites wasn't there. You had your ABs and you had your SBs. ABs, Aryan Brotherhood; SBs, Southern Brotherhood. They were there, but they were, when I tell you, small numbers, small numbers, to the point to where even if they wanted to stand up, they was gonna be wiped off the map. You feel what I'm saying? For every one white boy, it was 25 blacks. Simple as that. But that was in the 90s. As time went on, the numbers start changing. They will never outnumber the blacks, but their numbers had got up. And it was a slow, gradual change. And then to the point where blacks, we didn't really recognize it at first. You know what I'm saying? Because I did most of my time in the max prisons in Alabama. They were coming in mostly going to the mid-level prisons. So they was coming to the max too, but mostly in the mid-level. The numbers really changed drastically up into the mid and late 2000s in the mid-levels. But now we start seeing it, change in the max too. And nobody really paid attention to it because it was such a gradual change. And to the point to when we started paying attention to it, it was like one of them things like, wait a minute, hold on. Where all these white boys coming from, man? I noticed it when I first noticed it. I can't remember what year, but I was coming back through Kilby, and Kilby is what you might call receiving. It would be like Chino is in Cali. I was coming in, like when I first came through receiving Kilby the first time, it would be like 5 or 6, beds of blacks, then a white boy. 5 or 6 beds of blacks, then a white. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. As when I came then versus when I came through years and years later into the 2000s to the like 2010s and stuff like that. Hold up. It was hard to find 2 beds of blacks than a white. It was like a black, a white, a black, a white, black, white, black, white, black, a white, black, a white, white, black. So I'm like, and that's when I really keyed in on it. I'm like, hold up. What is this? And that's when I start thinking about, man, where all these white boys coming from? And that's when a lot of brothers start really keying in on, man, where all these white boys coming from? And we didn't really put 2 and 2 together until, people really start sitting around talking about it and thinking about it and talking about it when the numbers start drastically getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And what it was the dope. At the beginning, a lot of people was getting locked up over like just weed and cocaine and, heroin or whatever. Sherm, that wasn't no white boy thing. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't tripping on that. Just blacks was coming in 90 going north on that. But now when this meth hit, the ice and the meth, that was a white boy thing right there. Them white boys out in them hills, in them woods, in these little towns, man, they cooking meth 90 going north. They cooking that ice 90 going north. They getting strung out on it 90 going north. You know what I'm saying? So now they getting locked up. It was their turn to get their foot in the door on the drug game. So now with them getting their foot in the door on the drug game, now the police had the key in on them. They cutting the fools out there in the streets. They acting up. So now they coming in droves, and droves, and droves, and droves. And it took us a minute to try to figure out and realize what it was. But so it got down to the point where we, hey man, what you locked up for? Meth. Man, what you locked up for? Ice. What you locked up for? Manufacturing, meth, ice. What you, meth, ice, manufacturing, meth, ice. Like, oh, that's what happened. That's what happened. They drug hit the scene. The drug that they like cooking. That methamphetamine, that ice, crystal. Crystal, what they was calling it. Crystal, I think. Whichever one they got to bury in the ground and cook in a fish tank or whatever. And they crystal, scrape it all away. Yeah. So that's what had happened. Because around the system, more and more riots started happening between black and whites. The days of just kicking the white. I'm not speaking in Alabama now, but it happened all over the United States. The population, even in California prison with the whites, they start getting their numbers up. And you know what I'm saying? From me doing a little homework, checking in on certain stuff, you know what I'm saying, with their numbers getting up, they start really, really, really becoming a factor up in them prisons to where, you know what I'm saying, that's when they start smelling themselves to where they even started wanting to buck up against the Southsiders. Back in the 80s, they would never, ever, now, and I know prisons I was in, ever think about, you know what I'm saying, going against the Southsiders, the Mexicans. But in this day and age, from my understanding, they because of the numbers they got now, they'll go against the blacks, the Southsiders, and whoever else, the Norteños, whoever else. You know what I'm saying? That's what numbers bring. But even in the Alabama system, after start getting into so many rides and seeing them, when I start getting close to coming home and start going to lower level prisons, seeing all these white boys. I'm talking about, and they wasn't scary no more. That would trip me out. No, they wasn't scary no more. They was on some, what's up? I told you about a time when I had a confrontation with one little white dude named Cadillac. He wasn't scared. He put his shoes on and all that and was ready to get down. Blow my wig back. I'm like, huh? I was not used to seeing that in the Alabama system. And to the point to where he got in a ride or two with them cats. You know what I'm saying? To where, and they was pushing a line. The one ride, I tell you, it kicked off with the Crips and the white boys, but it ended up turning into an all-out black and white thing. You know what I'm saying? But little young Crips that took their phone, stole their phone off the wall while they was charging, and they had the nerve to give the Crips an ultimatum, like bring our phone back by lunchtime, or we gonna tear this BITCH up. Like, what? Man, go ahead on. Y'all sit down, man. Stop playing. Y'all playing. No, they wasn't playing. And came out at lunch. They didn't get the phone, and they proceeded to tear that BITCH up. You know what I'm saying? It was on and cracking. We was thumping. He was thumping like bongos on that yard that day. But that's what it was with the influx of them starting to get locked up a lot behind the methamphetamine and the crystal meth. That's what had happened. So boom. And to the point now where even like in the Alabama system, they numbers are up. They numbers are up. Are there as many as them as it is blacks? No. It never will be. But are their numbers up to the point to where they poking their chests out? Yeah. Especially in them lower level prisons. Yeah. So it is what it is, what it was. It gonna be what it's gonna be. But that's what brought the change about. And I'm quite sure in a lot of other states around the United States, that same kind of, if dudes think back and just, say, they'll realize, you know what? Yeah, he right. Yeah, they numbers did start getting up in the mid 2000s. They start coming in a lot. So that's what happened. Anyway, I just had to get that little bit out. In the meantime, between time, man, y'all tell the people you love them. And don't forget, man, I'm Tony, man, and I represent Jesus Christ, man. I'm out.